All right. Hey, I'm Tagg of the holistic artist of kissmyartsy.com. And
I'm Tracy with the motherhouse.org. Good morning.
good morning. How are you? How's your weekend? You want to start with pulling a card?
Oh, okay. I do. Okay, all right. I'll keep using the same deck. Weekend. My weekend. What the fuck? So the overall vibe of my weekend is learning a little deeper, because I've had this lesson multiple times in the past. Not to react.
Okay.
How not to react, right? So when somebody's telling me to go fuck myself, my and I'm just gonna say, I don't know if this is from many lives of this, but I know it's definitely of this life. And I heard it said, somebody once said this, use this analogy where you're like a dog backed into a corner, and you are always in this mode where you have to fight for your life, but you feel like you need to bite somebody in order to in order to live, because you have nowhere to go. There's nowhere to go behind you, right?
Yeah, your box. And
I've definitely felt like that dog most of my life, and so I learned how. Well, I don't want to say I learned how, but my response to that. Yeah, no, I'll say I learned, because my mom, man, I have so much gratitude for mothers, and my mother. I tell you what, I was ungrateful as a child, and you know, she just was trying to protect her kids. She was trying to protect her kids from being overly medicated, from being titled with all these disorders, and she did the best she could. And but what I saw and what I adopted was the react method.
right.
And so when someone comes at me, my muscle memory is to snap back. And I have had to do a lot of work with my muscle memory and connecting to a new neural pathway in my brain, because I've learned that doesn't get me anywhere. It gets me, it ultimately, because I'm very good at it, it makes me look like an asshole. And I don't want to look like an asshole. And not only what I look like to the outside world, but what I feel like on the inside after I have that reaction, right? It doesn't serve me well.
Right.
And so I have been practicing the respond and not react for quite a few years now. And so a couple people did tell me to go fuck off this weekend. Actually. And I responded with, excuse me, because I think, that was the best I had in the moment. And I just kept walking, right? But after the incident, I, I guess I grapple or fight with the two sides of the devil and the angel on the shoulder, where the devil's saying, you want to hate them, don't you? You want to be angry with them. You want to send angry messages of vibration towards them. And I've learned that's in me, and that will keep me sick, and I don't want that. And so there's a song I've been listening to recently that says that I love it when people win. Like, I like that. And
Yeah.
so I really want to see them do well. And so if they're hurting and they're struggling with anger towards me, I'm bringing up something in them. I'm triggering something in them. It's just who I am. I can't change who I am. I'm 100% connected to the divine, and I need to be surrounded. I need to be surrounded with a specific frequency and vibration for me. And they were crossing my boundaries. And so I put up the boundaries and I showed that this was the boundaries, and they didn't like it. Right. And so there's nothing I need to do. And except for hold this vibration of love and send the message of, and if they do say anything else to me, I have practiced and brought in the namaste. I'm just going to stick with namaste. The light in me bows to the light in you. Namaste. Just one word. I'm not going to say anything else other than that one word. Even if I have to say that, you know what I mean? I'm going to try not to even engage ultimately. But if I feel threatened, the whole namaste, because I just don't have time for that anymore. I don't.
Well, I know exactly how you feel, and I went through the same situation, but in reverse this weekend, and I was on cloud nine because I had made some decisions to that is promising with the changes that I've made. Except for, right before the 6/6 portal, I did call in the rest of the issues that I've been dealing with and bringing it forth. I knew some things were lingering behind because I was feeling angry and resentful and bitter and, that low vibrational frequency, and so I had called that forth during the day before the 6/6 portal, so I could sit in that energy and process it, pray over it, and move forward. And so the situation came up with the living arrangement that I have with this apartment complex, that I'm trying to make it a win-win,
Mm-hmm.
And the receptionist or leasing agent, she didn't do the things that she promised that she was going to do, and then wanted to explain the situation and basically sell me on another idea that I really wasn't going for, and then proceeded to have me come back after going back and forth over this for a week, because she didn't do what she said that she was going to do, just to defer time. And see, that is what stuck under my skin. It's like, I had to cut her off mid-sentence. So yes, I probably seemed a little of an asshole to her, but it was necessary because she wasn't going to take accountability and wanted.
She wasn't listening to you.
Yeah.
And you needed to get a little bit more bolder, because maybe. And so this is an interesting thing, because this goes to right now I put out an ad. Okay? And it's kind of that grimy feeling, like I'm trying to be that woman where it's like trying to use these tactics to like reel people in and like, like create like this soft, I'll say soft lie, a soft lie to get to a point where you feel like the person's just going to cave because they're just like, I get
looking
that.
for a solution, and if you stall them long enough, they're going to, give in. And the point is, with the way how I establish my boundaries is to stay on track. I can't force anybody to do anything that is pleasing to me, because it just gets into a battle that I really just don't want to entertain. So I think of it as, okay, well, my boundaries are for me to stay on track. My objective is to create a win-win situation for the both of us. She wasn't hearing it. And so I had to say, okay, well, am I gonna go to war over this, which is a natural human instinct of mine, is to battle it out. And I'm like, you know what? Absolutely not. So let me just cut her off right here and tell her, I will come back Monday when you're not busy, and we will discuss it further then. Giving her time to do the things that she didn't do, that she said she was going to do, just to have a communication, a flow of communication. So I gave her another chance without saying, I'm giving you another chance.
But what
That
do you want? What do you want? Do you want what she has, or you don't want what she has and you want something else?
Well, that's the illusion. She's not giving me anything but trying to sell me on an idea, instead of asking the questions that she should have asked, for my proposal. So that's the illusion right there. So had I just sat there and listened to it and let her fumble over it, I would have wanted to go to battle, her word over mine. No, I'm not doing that. I'm not entertaining that anymore. So without telling her, I'm giving you one more chance, I just said, listen, I'll come back Monday. We'll pick it up then, so I could go outside and play. I did not want to be in the mind frame of, oh, well, she didn't do what she said she was going to do. No, I did not want to be there. I did not want to tell anybody to fuck off. I didn't want anybody to tell me to fuck off. I'm just like, let me just exit the situation and reconvene. There's other things I wanted to do and I needed to do, and to give her any more time. Time is
Well,
linear.
you feel like you're in a good space.
Well, yeah, my emotions are for me. In order for me to stay at a vibration that I am my most joyful self and loving the things that I'm doing, I can't allow myself to receive the projection and just be okay with it,
So this was an interesting turn of events with my ad being out there. And another interesting thing I just saw on a feed that says, I think it was Erica Badu, and she said, you're not going to get what you're asking for. You're going to get what you are.
Right.
And so I thought about this, because what I have coming in and what I've always had coming in are people who cannot afford to pay out of pocket for services. I've had that for a long time. I worked in a rehab for 3 years. I mean, the state paid for them to be there. I I worked in a hospital before that. Like, it was insurance companies. And of course, the woman asked me if I accepted insurance, and I don't. And so what do you do with that? Because I know that she needs help. I know she needs help. And I know I could help her, actually. So just in one meeting with her, I could probably turn her whole life a different way. And so I have decided to allow whatever needs to unfold with this. I think I'm kind of in the same place where you're at right now with this woman too, where I'm going to allow it to like kind of show me what it needs to show me, and like just keep myself in check, whatever I need to, wherever and see what's coming up, because what Erica just said was very interesting. And I don't want to be something I'm not. I want to be who I am. And if that means that I'm attracting people who have suffered and who have, like been through the ringer and is having a hard time paying their rent, then I want to help those people. Those are the people I want to help. That's whatever, right? But obviously there has to be an equal exchange here, right? And so I am developing a little bit of a different avenue with my website, where it's going to showcase what I do. And I really do feel like I can help everybody that comes there in some small way. If they can't afford to put the money in, at least they can get the interactiveness of what is available there. Because, and what I said to the woman who said, I can't. And this brought me back to an incident that I had, many incidents in my life that I had with people who wanted to use force in order to get me to get their services. And it was with a large corporation where I was saying, no, I can't afford it. And they wanted to send me through all these loops and things just to get out of the freaking building.
Yeah.
I felt like an abusive boyfriend or girlfriend or whatever, or myself, was trapping me in this agreement that I haven't even agreed to. What the fuck?
Right.
And I don't want to be, I'm not that person. No, I'm not going to take money from people who don't have it or who don't. Okay, so in the thing with me in my position was I got to a place where I realized that I needed to move things around. And then I did have some extra money to put towards my health in that way. But if a person isn't there yet, then I'm just going to support them. And I'm just going to, okay, so this brings me to another thing. So when I'm in a healing, and I've had all different kinds of entries into someone's subconscious soul, whatever, when I go in and I meet with their spirit, right? And sometimes I've had two very rare occasions where, no, I heard a no. I'm not ready. I don't want it. I'm not letting you in. And my thought was that I needed to produce something, right? This is my human mind. I needed to produce something because if I don't, they're going to be upset because we didn't have a healing, blah, 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 all this stuff. But what spirit guided me to do was just ask them to sit on a bench with me. And we just sat there and just kind of allowed just positivity to kind of envelop us. And
Right.
we didn't go into those deep places because they weren't ready. And that's okay too.
Yeah.
So yeah, the spiritual realm, the sacred realm, it doesn't have any place for that forceful feeling. And it's just I feel like I feel like I'm put in a position where I've learned enough of the spiritual realm that I am the protector of that.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't give a shit how many sales. I don't care if I'm fucking. Can I swear on this channel?
Well, we try not to, but
Oh, shoot, okay. I don't care if
it needs to go with the flow.
I don't care if I am, if I lose things because of it. I will lose things because of it because I just, I have spent my whole entire life trying to get a connection with the divine. And I want to respect it. And it does not have, okay, I'll say it has a place in the business world, but it has a small place in the business world. Maybe not even none. I don't even know. I don't even think that exists, but ultimately it exists in our 3D world, so we have to play along. That makes sense.
Yeah, that makes complete sense. I mean, because, having your own establishment, you're not bombarded with analytics like institutions have. I mean, it's all number driven by the accountants, So giving quality work instead of quantity work, this is what the collective is asking for. They're not asking for, they're not asking for the fluff. They're asking for the truth. And the truth is, yeah, you have the ability to be flexible within your own structure of your own business, so you can tweak it to fit the needs of whoever needs it. And you don't have to be within the stressful structure of numbers, and you need X amount of people paying X amount of money each month. This is the beauty of this industry, being a holistic practitioner. I mean, I have turned away more clients than I have accepted, simply because if they're not in the place of their investing in their health long term, I don't work with those people because that hinders my blessings, as well as me being a vessel for them. And then there are people who cannot afford it that I have bartered with, because they just happen to be local. Hello. They happen to be local. But in the long run, I feel as though I am making an impact and I'm making a difference versus driving my business based on numbers. It doesn't work for me. And
Yeah.
that's why I stepped away from the medical industry when I was in the medical industry, the real estate industry when I was in the real estate industry, the political side of it, the entertainment side of it. This is the reason why I stepped back from all of that, because of the greed, the entitlement. I can't be disciplined and focus on what I'm here to do if I'm worried about the things that are not even in the natural world, Numbers and money is one of those things.
Yeah, I feel like money is sacred. I feel like, okay, I guess I could, we'll do a card first because I pulled 3 actually. So the first card is the 3 of Earth, raspberries. The smallest berries taste like. All right. 3 of Earth. Okay. So the 3 of Earth is fill your basket with companionship and collaboration. Nourish your body. Savor simple pleasures. And I'm telling you, I keep getting that too. Like, my want is, okay. When and I know there's a place for this for a certain amount of time, but when I get into like creating a website, creating ads, creating whatever, when it comes to even like, waiting for somebody to reach out and ask for help, I'm just like looking at my phone. I'm like, this thing's gotta go, right? But it consumes me, and I forget, and I think this is, I want to say, the reason why the industry is the way it is because it's so easy for you to forget why you're doing it to begin with. You get so caught up in the numbers and yeah.
Yeah, it is. I was coaching a young entrepreneur that wanted to have her own dance facility. Oh, I was like, where'd you go? And I asked her, why she is doing this. And of course, she gave me the why that you design for the public. And I rephrased the question. I said, what is your soul asking you to do? And she, stated that she wanted to open up a dance studio of her own so she could, touch people and in a she wanted to, I shouldn't say touch people, but impact people for personal power, empowerment.
For her own power.
And I said, okay, all right. And I said, so what is your focus? And she said, well, she started compartmentalizing the hours into classes that she could offer, and there's like a huge gap in the schedule. And I said, if you're focusing on the money, it will never be enough. Focus on what your soul is calling you to do. So she didn't receive that information very well because she was exactly where I thought she was. She was focused on the money. And the money only comes when the soul calls it in, when you're doing something that is in the creative field. That's just how it works. Versus business. Business in the institution world, it calls in numbers, status, data, analytics, and you work yourself into a frenzy trying to achieve that.
Because I feel like what we're called, right? So like just what Erica says, you're calling in what you are. And so do you feel like that you went through that where you fell into that over and over again, like trying to, remember why you were doing it, but then it was consuming with the numbers and the money and how you're going to survive.
I made my peace with numbers and money a long time ago. I made my peace with it, and I had to tweak my definition of it over the years simply because, you can get sidetracked by it. You really can. But if you don't make a healthy relationship with it, because money is a tool as well. It's a tool that allows you to eat, to house yourself, to provide for yourself. It's a tool. And if you are focused on the tool, why are you doing it? If you're only focused,
There's a thrill in it. There's a thrill in the actual money number game. There is definitely a thrill in the game. And that's why I can see why some of these people who, I mean, that is what their passion is. The passion is the game, the money, the how much more can we get? How much more can we get? Like,
yes, but what's the source of that? Is it the source because you can, or is it the source of power?
well, I think that the thing that's missing is the connection to the divine, the checking in every day with where's your heart, like, and why, even if it is in the money game, is it strictly just to see the numbers, or is it that that you are guiding this whatever it is, whether it's people or places, with a good vibration behind it?
You attract what you are, and that money is not different than who you are. It is just a physical manifestation of the energy that you hold, that you embody. So if you are racking up numbers because you can, that's your truth. If you're racking up money because it's a thrill, that's your truth.
And
So
who's to say it's not okay? Who's to say it's all not? They're all connected to the divine in their own way, and everything is good. Everything is good.
those that don't want to be accountable for the way they feel and their relationship with that tool, because all it is an extension of you. That's all it is. So yeah, I've said several times during our meetings with the study group, like, you're not selling anything. You're not selling yourself. You're of service. Your service is servicing people in need. People want to guarantee that your tool is going to work. But are they open and receiving of those tools that you're servicing them with?
So ultimately,
Is
what
what
you need to ask is, are you yourself open and receiving?
yeah, that's a big part of it.
Because you're not going to get people who are open and receiving.
You're
They're
connected.
not open and receiving.
Why would you want to work with someone who isn't open and receiving to your services that you're offering? That's when the sales and the hardness comes in at, because you got to pay
Okay.
the bill.
Okay, I'll tell you why. I know why. I mean, obviously, because it's something that's in your subconscious that you have no idea that you are even, that's driving the bus. It's in your subconscious. Your conscious doesn't see that that's what you are.
So let me ask
You're not
you
aligned.
a question. Let me ask you another question. So, what is it about you that what's I'm just like, what is it about yourself that you're not allowing to receive about yourself, to connect to someone else who want to receive? Are you trying to force something on someone else because of your numbers? are you trying to make a connection with someone else because they're open to receive it?
I think for me personally, I think that that this is a great question to sit with in meditation. But if I were to give a little bit on it, because I do, I had a lot of energy blocks and a lot of a misalignment between my own conscious, subconscious, unconscious, and my subconscious. I'm learning every day something new that I'm like about my subconscious, where I'm like, whoa, that's something I need to like really talk to, because that is not how I want to operate.
Right.
And I think for me anyways, I'm still dealing with some karmic, and I'm hoping that with the boundaries that I've put up just recently and like the whole shenanigans, all that shit that happened, really kind of sits with my subconscious and with the relationship with the patterns and frequencies that I'm embodying, where the universe sees that I don't want to create that monster anymore. And yes, all my relationships were codependent, and they were codependent in a way where I got off on other people's on soothing other people. So ultimately, it was not soothing other people to make them feel better. It was soothing other people to make me feel better. And I know that now. I really do know that. Like I was a selfish mofo, okay? And I thought, and I was not, my shit was not aligned. So I thought that what I was doing was healthy. And it wasn't. It was destroying lives. It was destroying lives.
Yeah.
And it was like the number one, it was very narcissistic. And I know that right. And so I woke up one day and I realized that I had these character defects, that I had these things that had been running the show for me, my life, right? And how do you stop those? I had to gain a relationship with the divine, so that, and they call it like the God pause or something, so that ultimately that there was this silence in between me and how I was going to screw up my life or somebody else's life, right? And so there was this silence where I had the ability to like see what I was doing.
Yes. So you were in receiving mode for the messages. There was nothing else that the divine could do to get you into that receiving mode until you were ready to get there.
Right.
And so
and I had to be ready. You're right.
Yeah.
And there was no person that was able to I don't want to say no person. My ex-boyfriend, he was very good at reflecting back to me some of this crap. So I feel like some of the things that he said, definitely I was, even then, I still wasn't ready until I was ready to hear it. I'm sure he was saying those things year after year to me. And I was just like,
the divine can't sell you on, the power of the love energy, frequency. The divine cannot sell you on that.
Can I bring this in? And
let me finish.
Okay. You go.
So that's something you cannot sell. Okay. It's something that has to be connected. So when you were ready to receive from the divine, you were open to it and you were ready. The investment was shadow work, ego, the list goes on and on and on, that you were now ready to say, okay, I surrender. Well, as a holistic practitioner, you're doing the same thing. You're waiting for that person to be ready to receive what your service is. If they're not ready, there's no reason for a sell. You cannot sell it. You have to connect. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I know all that. I mean, I know it, right? So, and here's a good example. So everything that you're saying to me, it's knowledge in my mind, but
Now
is
it's
it
time to
my
walk.
heart?
Yes.
Right? And that's something that I can't just be like, well, I know it. And I know there's a lot of, and you see this everywhere in the world, right?
Yeah.
The book smart people, like they can talk a good game. But is it in their heart? Are they practicing it themselves? Are they, are they holding that frequency inside themselves?
Applying the action. Exactly. Yes.
So the only thing that I can do when I have that gap, and it's right, I can do a lot of things. I can do some visualization to help see where the energy needs to flow and try and hold it in my heart. I can love myself more. I can do some of the action that is the experience so that I can see where those gaps lie in actually living it in the experience with others in the world, and be holding that humility to listen and receive the messages that are coming through, even though I might know it in the mind, right? Right? Because and that was a really hard lesson for me. even still today, I wanted to cut you off. Even today, that's just my deal, right? And so somebody has to yell at me and be like, "Let me finish." Right? Because when I feel like I know it, I don't want to physically hear it anymore. But ultimately, I need to stop. I need to listen, because sometimes the stuff that I know might be followed up by something that I don't know, one, and two, it could be being projected in a way that has never been projected before, in the feeling, in the vibration from that specific person, because just like they say, a man never stands in the same river twice. So ultimately, it's the same message, but it's coming from a different source. It's coming from a different way.
Yes, exactly. So,
I got goosebumps on that one.
I do too. And
Woo.
being in the holistic, the holistic line of work, it's very important to have that. It does. I mean, because there's so many different avenues to address the core issue, and it's just a matter of where you're connecting with this person to figure that out. Like, for instance, there's food, there's prayer, there's meditation, there's activities, there's, different frequencies that you can address the same issue, just told in a different story. There's so many ways. And so I get it. Trying to narrow down to a niche, that's very limiting. It's very limiting on what your training has, your life training that has taught you along the way, you know?
Yeah, it's those dang neural pathways, man. I liked the analogy of, I feel like to change these neural pathways, it's like trying to reverse lightning.
Yeah. Do I catch it? You know?
It's like, no, don't go this way. And it's a lightning. It's literally an electric charge that's going, and it's used to going this way. And so
Yes.
to stop it from doing that, it takes a lot of reinforcement by you and by your external. Whatever is, find a good guide, man. Find a good guide. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Because I needed a lot of teachers, and I've spent a lot of contributions to get these teachers, a lot. I mean, every extra penny that I had went to non-traditional shit.
Yes.
Non-traditional medicine, healing, teachers, sages, wisdom. If I felt like somebody had what I wanted, and not in a material way, in a happiness and joyful way, in a perseverance type of way, in a hope and faith and honest type of way, then I want to devote a contribution to keeping this person's message alive, so that other people could also benefit from this and not take. I don't want to be a taker my whole life. I want to contribute to what I believe in.
Mm-hmm.
And what I believe in is not going to a place where they're telling me that I need something removed from my body, or I need to be on something that makes me feel worse than I felt previous.
Yeah. Yeah. And what I want, just to add to that, just what I want, and I know that this is in my energy and the way how I connect to people. I want to speak to someone who is going to listen to my story and not just give me a checklist list of boxes to check off. You know, I want someone who is going to take the time to engage in a conversation and have a phone call with me, not to be passed through one receptionist to another receptionist to a nurse and to hear, no, thank you.
The first session of any healing relationship should be over 1 hour. And I'm going to say push it 2 hours. So this little 15-minute, half an hour bull crap.
Yeah. No, thanks. No. Because when I know you're sitting there and you're listening to me, you're able to empathize with my situation, you know, and I'm going to be in receiving mode to see how your services are going to be able to offer, serve me, to help me. And it just brings it back around full circle to the girl this morning in the apartment situation. Now the circumstances changed, the narrative changed. It went from holistic to apartment. However, the integrity behind that conversation that she had with me, she didn't want to listen to my story. She wanted to sell me on an idea. She never asked the questions that we had spoken about. So how am I going to trust this connection? I won't. And I'm not going to push it. It's the same thing with my practitioner as well. You don't want to listen to me. If you don't want to address any of the questions that I'm asking, I'm not going to be open to what you have to say and receive the information to see if there is a connection here. And and I tell this to, the professionals that I speak with, I engage with on a regular basis. I'm like, there is 182 hours in a week. It only takes one to have a conversation, a real conversation. And this is what is missing in our institutions. Is that real connection. Instead, we have sales, we have procedures, we have prescriptions, we have an agenda of what is being pushed on instead of saying, how are you different? Where does it hurt? How can we work together to fix this? It's an investment. It's an investment.
Yeah, and I feel like there is that in the mainstream. I feel like that this conversation is directed for the people who feel like they're not being heard.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
Because there's specific things that fall into holistic or energy exchange and those type of things that ultimately they are not really incorporated. And so if you feel like you need that extra bit that you're not getting, then ultimately that's I'm just saying that's how I felt when it came push to shove. I felt like I'm doing all this. I'm doing the physical thing. I'm hearing it. I'm listening to the mental stuff. I get it, but there's something else there for me.
Right.
I didn't even know what it was, to be honest. And then I learned Reiki, and I learned that I have right. So it took me to learn Reiki, unlike you, where it sounds like you've had this knowing, you have this like energy system, right? Since you were young, I don't know.
But that is correct. But I also study Reiki as well.
Okay. Yeah. And Reiki is good for the ones who have no idea that they're connected, and also to enhance for the people who, because even like one of my teachers who I taught Reiki to, she knew her intuition. She knew that she had that ability her whole life, but she said when she learned the Reiki that it kind of
you can manage
added some things too.
Yeah,
right?
You can manage the abilities. Yeah.
Right. And so it was a game changer for me. I was like, oh my God, like this is why I'm just, it's like one thing with my body or my mind after another, and it's just everything was just filled with fear. Why am I like I this was the best. I would go to the doctor's office and they'd be like, oh, you just have anxiety, right? And I'm like, this is not anxiety. This is real. Like, and now I'm looking back, I'm like, it was totally anxiety. It was my anxiety because I was not connected to knowing how to speak with my body. And so ultimately, yes. I mean, obviously there was other stuff wrong with my body, but if I had the ability to work with this, anxiety piece, this fear, anxiety, all these other components that just exacerbated it, it might have been manageable. These body issues, these mental issues, these emotional issues, if I had a blueprint of my energy system, my even my physical system on a whole level, and just a better grasp of me, who I am as a person.
Yeah.
And not even being, because I'm pretty spiritual now, but not even being there. But when I started realizing that I was allowing things in that I didn't know, whether it was physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, I feel like I'm more of a sovereign being. Sovereignty means that you have control over a body.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was allowing other people to have my sovereignty.
Mm-hmm.
Here you go. It was like served up on a platter for whoever wanted it. You can
Yeah.
have it. I don't know what to do with it, so you can have it.
Right. Yeah.
It's messed up.
Yeah.
Messed up, and I'm so happy that there is a place to go and there are solutions for
Yeah.
this.
Alternative methods. Exactly. Exactly.
But I had to be ready.
You have to be ready.
I think we're at the hour, but I do want to read the raspberry real quick. Is that okay?
Yes. Yes.
Company brings joy to hard work. You have a responsibility to tend the abundance you have been given. There is much to do with fruitful raspberries, jellies, pies, syrups, vinegars, baskets, and medicine. Teamwork multiplies productivity. Invite others to join you. Trust your leadership and organizing skills. Approach people with clear expectations and agreements. As first year raspberry canes create the foundation for second year canes to fruit. Create value for generations to come. Together with your community, you can build a strong legacy. Raspberry tea, rich with minerals, tones, weaken tissues, and energizes the body. You are competent and up to the task, but keep yourself strong. Also, raspberries are just plain delicious. Remember to enjoy the sweetness of life. Crafting with the three of earth. Take a class in your community to learn how to weave a basket with raspberry canes. Make raspberry leaf to nourish and delight your body. Or harvest ruby red raspberries at the peak of summer, making jam with friends and enjoy it all year.
Very nice.
I do feel like I have a little more fear right now because I am releasing. I'm surrendering
Yeah.
to what I to I'm releasing the things that I know is not the way that I want to be seen, and I am putting my energy into the things that I feel like are fun.
Yes. Exactly. Exactly. We know what it's like to do the things that we don't want to do. That is no fun. We know we're experts at it, you know? So, yeah.
I feel like I'm at a place where I did the actions that I needed to do, and I need a little break from that.
Yeah.
I just need to have some fun, like you're saying.
Right.
You know.
Have some fun. Yes.
So that's it for me.
Okay. All right, folks. Well, that wraps up our hour, and you'll find information about us and our practice in the description below. And we will catch you next video.
Or we'll stay on for